This audio program by Radio AI is generated using artificial intelligence technologies. The voices you hear in this program are synthetic, and the thoughts they express are shaped through artificial intelligence-driven reasoning and iterative refinement.
Welcome to Radio AI. Today, we're diving deep into something pretty fundamental, a challenge we all face daily. It's that constant tug of war between speed and, well, being really precise when we make decisions. What truly matters most. You know, when you're making choices, from the small, everyday stuff to the really big ones. Our mission here is to unpack this balance, to move beyond just thinking either and understand how our minds handle uncertainty, what actually influences our choices. Okay, so let's maybe break this down a bit. Our minds seem to have, two main gears, right? A fast, intuitive mode and a slower, more analytical one. Like when you pick your route to work, you're probably using that fast process, yeah? Relying on shortcuts, heuristics, things you've learned, super efficient for stuff you know well, low stakes, lets you act quickly without much mental effort.
Right, and that speed is incredibly valuable. I mean, think about situations where time's short. Delay could mean missing out or even increasing risk. But there's a trade-off. These fast processes, they can be surprisingly prone to systematic errors, biases. Things like the availability bias, grabbing onto what's easiest to remember, or confirmation bias, where we look for stuff that already fits what we think. Those can really, distort judgment if we're rushing and not focusing on being accurate.
Okay, that makes sense for speed. But the flip side, precision, how does that thinking work? What are its strengths and weaknesses too, I suppose?
Exactly. Precision is about, gathering information carefully, weighing it, looking at different angles, thinking about consequences. Imagine a huge decision, like a career change. You probably want to do some methodical research, right? Talk to people, really reflect on your long-term goals. That deliberate approach really helps line things up with what you want in the future. Reduces regret, potentially, but you can also get bogged down. Overanalysis can lead to delay or just paralysis, especially when things are uncertain or changing fast.
Yeah, analysis paralysis. How do we know when we're stuck there versus just being, properly thorough? Because it's not just one or the other, is it? It seems like the way speed and precision interact is often more complex, like iterative maybe, or a mix.
That's a key point. It's often not a binary choice. You might make a quick assessment, act on it, but then revisit and adjust as you learn more. Think about a manager maybe who makes a fast call to grab an opportunity that won't last. They act quickly, but then they refine that decision later as more data comes in. It's more like a dance between the two modes.
So what nudges us personally towards one or the other? Speed or precision? Seems like a lot shapes that. Our own temperament, past experiences, even our culture, right? Some cultures value decisiveness, others really push for caution. And personality things too, like how okay we are with ambiguity or how much risk we're willing to take.
Which brings us to this idea of adaptive intelligence. It's basically the skill to read a situation, figure out what it needs, and then adjust your decision-making style. Blend speed and precision appropriately. It's kind of like practical wisdom, balancing rules with context. And you can get better at it. Self-reflection helps, getting different perspectives, reviewing past choices. Though we should mention, critics point out it's pretty subjective. There's maybe a risk of becoming overconfident in your own judgment, perhaps. Or it's just hard to apply consistently.
That's a fair point. And even if we try to be adaptive, are there other things like our emotions that can kind of derail us?
Oh, absolutely. Emotional pulls like fear of missing out, FOMO, right? That can push you into acting fast, even when your logical brain is saying, hang on, let's be more precise here. And what's really interesting is how many choices are influenced unconsciously by hidden biases or just the environment around us. Shows the limits of just thinking our way through everything.
And we can't ignore technology here. AI, algorithms, they're changing the game, aren't they? They can process huge amounts of info super fast, offer really precise recommendations, especially when time is critical.
They certainly can. But there are warnings about relying too much on them. Potential pitfalls, algorithm bias is a big one. The AI might just reflect biases in the data it learned from. Plus, there's the risk of less human oversight. Maybe our own judgment skills start to erode a bit. And even with amazing tech, the basic limits are still there. We only have so much time, so much mental bandwidth, Information overload is real. Tech helps, but it doesn't solve the core challenge.
So it sounds like the real art isn't about picking one speed or precision and sticking to it. It's more about constantly negotiating between them. Grounded in reason, sure, but also experience and just being sensitive to the specific situation.
Exactly. So maybe, for you listening, some questions to reflect on. What are the real stakes here? How much room for error is there, really? Is there actually time to get more info, or does this demand a quick call? What biases, personal or cultural, might be shaping your approach right now? Could any tools, people, or tech help you make a better judgment? And crucially, how will you look back at the outcome? Learn from it for next time. The goal is really discernment, flexibility.
Ultimately, navigating this complex landscape of making choices isn't about finding rigid rules. It's about cultivating the wisdom, really, to balance speed and precision as needed. Thank you so much for joining us on Radio AI and dedicating your time to this deep dive today. We really hope this exploration gave you some fresh insights into your own decision-making. We'd love it if you shared any thoughts or reflections in the comments below. Hope to have you with us again on Radio AI. Until next time.